This does not work. This is fun. Welcome everyone. Boom baby. Nice to be before you all. Hoping everybody is well. Set myself up. Bada bing. Ready to rock and roll. Okay, so today, as you can see behind me, we've got a whole Pana Dora, and actually, as you saw on the thumbnail, a full-on Pana Dora expression. So looking forward to sharing more on that. Before I begin, let me give you some announcements. Actually, before I begin, I'm hoping everybody, I'm gonna slow it down. Everyone has an awesome drink. Mine, Maté. What's Maté about? It's a communal drink that we have as Argentinians. It's a chance to, you know, when you have a mate, it's almost like not a peace pipe, but it's like a way of sharing a moment with someone else, and you're speaking honestly with them. You know, you're speaking as friends, basically. So Mate Talk is this, just us talking as friends on all things to do with niche perfumery. There are no cuts, so ideally I don't make mistakes and I can flow through it. So it's a much lengthier way of having a conversation. If you like things a lot more tighter, you want quick information, have a look at these other episodes I've created. The 10 in 10 is the perfect for that. If you've got a limited time, in 12 minutes we'll tell you about 10 fragrances that we love for particular themes. Or lineups. I did the BDK one on the weekend. That's actually done really well. So if you like that, you know, more concise, you know, information, have a look at those episodes. But here, it's like a lilo on a lazy river. We get there when we get there. At the end of this episode, I'm going to talk about some announcements, but just to give you a bit of a tease and so you know what I'm talking about. Someone has a chance to win this bottle. This is the last week, everybody. Win this bottle of Oud Noir, the brand new fragrance from an Aussie house called FLÄNER. I'll send it anywhere in the world. I'll tell you more about that shortly because it is a collector's item. That one that's in the box there. Coming up is the JAYNE Discovery Series, 12 fragrances that are exceptional and perfect for Northern Hemisphere summer and things of that nature. So I'll tell you more about that. Then, actually, boom, Libertine Perfumery. Now, they have done something remarkable, and that is that they've opened up international shipping. If you go onto their website, you'll see all the countries that are listed. Actually, it's a lot of countries. And I'll tell you more about that because there is a promo that they're doing with the channel, which is very appreciative. Grazie a tutti. And that's win a free bottle of XERJOFF, in particular, the new Neo Rio. You choose your color, but I'll tell you more at the end of this. Now, just so you, I don't know if you saw it, if you're not connected with me on Instagram, here's my handle, you jump across there. I do different content. So in some cases, there is a bit of a sort of a flow over from what happens here on the YouTube channel with that. But otherwise, I do a lot of stuff for that channel there, obviously. We did a meetup at the NOAH showroom, and we talked about all things État Libre d'Orange, Dr. Liam, the incredible mastermind behind, well, not behind NOAH, but the incredible, he's so talented. If you ever get a chance to go to the NOAH showroom and connect with Liam, just take your time because he is super knowledgeable about perfume and also super knowledgeable about, as humans, our experience with the olfactory, our senses, essentially. You'll enjoy time with him. He's a very approachable person, and you think with all that, knowledge and the fact that he's a doctor, that he might be intimidating. Far from it. He's so approachable, so easy to talk to. Anyway, we had a big catch up. We had a Melbourne meetup. He covered all things when it comes to État Libre d'Orange, and he named a number of the fragrances. Now, this was like a little giveaway that we had. Here's the video. If you missed it on Insta, go check out the reel there. I'm going to give this away. I'll tell you more at the end of that. And what was that about? I want to thank the people who did make it to that meetup. I know it was a bit tough. It was on a Thursday night, and I know it's harder to leave work, blah, blah, blah. We'll do another one. We'll do it on a Saturday, and that'll make it a bit easier for people to travel in and all that. But it was an awesome night. And for those who were able to join, there was really good vibes in that whole, in the NOAH showroom. Today, what I want to talk about, actually, I want to show you one last thing. And these are a collection. Can you see these? Well, there's 5 of them, okay? These are man, I'm doing a terrible job of showing this off. These are the samples. They're so clever the way these look. These are the samples for Pana Dora, and I've got a nice little collection of these samples. They're super classy. I'm going to be giving them away too. So I'll tell you more at the end of this episode of how that all works. Let's talk Pana Dora. Boom. Now this is a brand that I discovered probably about 2 years ago. No, 3 years ago, holy cow. And the episode that I created was with Kevin, and it was via the Oillataguerre store that I actually discovered the brand. The bottle instantly attracts your attention because it has this wonderful Swedish antler or deer head on the top of it. Just everything about it, the plaque on the front, and then there's the fragrance. So visually first it catches your eye, but then when you experience the fragrances, you're like, whoa, this is like completely unique. The brand is based in Sweden, so it's a Swedish brand. I'm just gonna, today is all about, sorry, I dove straight into it. Today is all about Pana Dora, and more importantly, if you are interested in the brand, I'm going to share with you 6 fragrances that I would say start here. These are great recommendations, regardless of where you are on your perfume journey. So all the way from new recruits all the way deeper in. So yeah, going back, I discovered the brand through Kevin Oillataguerre and instantly fell in love. They are a brand that's based in Sweden. The perfumer for the brand and owner, Ibrahim, he is a Syrian man. So unlike some other Swedish brands, let's take Byredo for instance, where it has a very ethereal, so Byredo has a very ethereal, it's a black and white and very cool and very like slick looking. Here, it's opulent and very, almost decadent in its look and then its scent profile. So here is a Swedish brand, but they're doing things in such a unique and different way from what you think of Scandinavian countries, very clean lines and very minimalist and, pared back and all that sort of stuff. Whereas here, it's very opulent. And what has happened is that Ibrahim has married these two cultures together. So his Syrian Middle Eastern background that he has, and the love for very rich Oriental notes, spices and oud and heavier things. But he's actually added a Scandinavian touch to it. So there is this blend, this balance between these Middle Eastern heavy sort of more stronger notes with this very ethereal, very light. But the balance is perfect. I'm gonna get really nerdy on you because this is a brand that, as I said, I discovered in 2021, fell in love really quickly, and then have just now deep dived into all things when it comes to Pana Dora. You can see some bottles behind me. I've now, they've just released a new one, so I was about to say I've now got the full collection, but there's one more. It's never ending, is it? What I'm going to be doing is a discovery series. So upcoming, there will be a discovery series on the full. If you jump on their website, you can see you can buy all the actual samples, and I will break them down like I'd love to do with all things discovery series. There will be a discount code, all that sort of stuff. So that's something that we are in conversation with the brand. But I thought today would be a great way to sort of break the ice, essentially. If you're new, you want to explore, you want to know where to start, these are great places to begin. Let me begin. Boom. Yes. Look at this photo. I met with Ibrahim in Cannes last year. We had a chance to, so I'd already been talking about their brand. He loved the content that we were creating. And we sort of began this deeper conversation when it comes to doing something for the brand. Very honored to be in his company. This man is self-taught. He is incredibly skilled when it comes to the way he blends things together. One thing that is very apparent, and as you begin to explore Pana Dora, is that unlike other houses where you go, oh yeah, I can pick up the fig note that's coming through, or I can definitely pick up this and pick up that, I find that his compositions are very, here we go, round, are very round, and they are. I mean, there's no other way I can actually define them other than it's a very holistic composition. And for someone like me who, my brain is hyperactive when it comes to trying to unpick and unbox notes, not because I want to be a perfumer or anything of that nature, but purely from the fact that my brain wants to identify these notes. It's almost like my own personal mission, that I want to know what's actually making this fragrance and why is it resonating with me. And I find that with these guys, it's just super round. Boom, I'm gonna get cracking. All right, first one that I would put on your radar is AQUA de Dora. Now, I've talked about this particular fragrance here for a long time now. I think on Maté Talk, I did a 10 in 10. It was Kevin, he put it up as a beautiful summer fragrance. So if you're brand new to the house, start here. This is, I mean, this is easy an all year round fragrance, even though the scent profile you would think may lean a little bit more summer, and truthfully, it's perfect for a summer landscape. Absolutely gorgeous. But today, very mild weather here in Melbourne, actually very cold. Sun is out, but very cold, and this is gorgeous. I can smell it popping on me. Now, it has the classic structure. So if you like vibrato, for instance, that grapefruit, the thing with vibrato, it has the grapefruit opening, that citrus, beautiful burst. Then it does go to a white floral place, you know, the magnolias and stuff like that, and then dries down a bit more on the woody musky. It does go a little bit sour to my nose. Well, I find that when it comes to AQUA Dora, it has no florals in that heart, and it has a much more masculine lean. I feel that women can also wear this. No reason why you can't. But it does have a little bit more of a masculine sort of edge to it. So it's my recommendation for the boys. I'll put one for the girls in a second. On that opening, it has, the notes that are listed is this grapefruit and ambroxan. The grapefruit does come out very clear, and the ambroxan, which is like a musky sort of molecule and quite a heavy, this is me talking, this is me making up stuff, okay? Seals down that grapefruit. And because I get that grapefruit smell pretty much all the way through the fragrance, it never sort of pulls itself away from it. So even deeper in the dry down, that grapefruit note is still apparent. And even to the point where, and I have shared this before, where I was wearing this in summer, I'd now been wearing it 6-8 hours, I think. We had gone out for dinner as a family, and my son, who was behind me, I was ahead of him, he's like, whoa, who's wearing vibrato? I can smell this grapefruit. And I said, no, it's me, bro. And you know, smell. And he's like, that's exactly it. So it has that sort of scent profile, but it does lean more masculine. One thing that I find that when it does dry down, it does go a little bit woody and peppery, has like a black pepper sort of briskness to it. Anyway, gorgeous fragrance, big, massive recommendation. Perfect for your summer, for the Northern Hemisphere. Great longevity and a great masculine fragrance. Boom, I'm gonna move on. I'll move that there. Yes, all right, the next one is this one here. I did not spray. Can you see I had the little card on the antlers. This is DORASIMA. I always mispronounce it. DORASIMA. Dorissima. This is pure feminine beauty. So where AQUA Dora is a very masculine leaning fragrance, this is fantastic for you girls. It opens up with this bouquet of just gorgeous fruity florals. It's, I can't unpick. I can't say, oh yeah, I'm getting peach or I'm getting this or I'm getting that, other than beautiful fruity floral. And I find that this is a fragrance, and I was, yesterday, Hannah did spray this. I have sprayed this within my family. Sandra loves this fragrance. My daughter-in-laws love this fragrance also. And the one thing that I find is that it transcends age. I find that some fragrances, I don't know, for me, that let's take Bois de Portugal. Bois de Portugal, beautiful, masculine fragrance, but I feel it's a 30 plus. I don't know if a younger person can pull it off as successfully as someone who now has a bit more maturity to them. Whereas here, my niece, who's 16, 17, wears this, or I don't give her the bottle, but I've let her spray it and to see how she wears it. And it works perfectly on her. It's a beautiful fragrance for a young woman to wear. And then now a married woman with children, you know, in mid-30s or mid-40s, sprays this and it works like magic. So this is a gorgeous fragrance that can transcend any age. So none of the boys and any men that I know who have sprayed this, it doesn't work for them. I have read that some men do like this fragrance, fantastic. But I find that the men that are around me not necessarily are gravitating to this because of those very high fruity floral. It's playful, but yet serious at the same time. So what I find that when it does dry down, it goes into a wonderful floral, musky place. What did I write, just to be clear? Yeah, soft woods. So I think it does have a cashmeran sort of, again, another molecule. This cashmeran soft woods, it's very delicate. So where it opens, fruity floral, you know, super happy and bright and summery and just, you know, like literally actually the visual that I get is like white curtains sort of moving in the wind, sunlight streaming through, and the ocean is right there. So you're somewhere on the beach. It's just beautiful, just happiness all around. And it's actually, I sprayed this before I started. This is now probably about 20, 30 minutes in the dry down. And it's still just gorgeous. It's sunshine, it's sunlight, it's happiness. It's blue sky. When it does dry down, as I said, it does go into that softwoods, sort of floral musk, gorgeous fragrance. I find that from my detection, when Sandra's wearing, I can smell this 8 hours deep. So this is a great summer fragrance. Sandra does not wear it as a winter fragrance, some cooler weather, but as a summer leaning fragrance. Big, massive recommendation. A great place to start if you're brand new to the house. Boom. Okay, let me move on to the next one. I started slow, but I'm speeding up, all right? So I'm trying to make sure that we deliver this on time, baby. On time and on budget. All right, so, sorry, my brain. This is SCANDIC. Now, if you can still be a new recruit and go here. I found that this is a great one if you're now deeper in. So if you're now semi-pro into veteran, there's more going on here when it comes to, if you like to unbox things and, you know, discover what notes are doing. This one here is a lot more transformative as it takes you to a place. The moment you smell, you're like, whoa, it's almost like a Matrix style. You put a thing in the back of your head and all of a sudden, bam, you're seeing all these things in front of you. So this is Ibrahim's tribute to Scandinavia. And the fragrance is called SCANDIC, and it's really a celebration of that region, but it has Ibrahim's touch to it in that he creates his own, I guess it's a Syrian man experiencing this in this place. So it's his interpretation of all this. When it opens, it's this gorgeous feeling of being, well, this is what I get, of being in a Scandinavian environment. And unfortunately for me, I've never been there in person other than seeing it in movies or looking at photos. And in looking at photos, I connect other things. So I had a chance to travel through the South Island of New Zealand. And we did the fjords and we did all that, you know, all the things that is iconic to that location or to that country. And for me, so that's my memory of you know, this sort of very Scandinavian environment, and this is how my brain is sort of transplanting it. What I'm seeing when I spray this is the open woodland. So I can almost see sunlight streaming through, this greenness, these pine forests directly in front of me, but behind it is this beautiful fjord with, you know, the mountains and, you know, a waterfall coming through. All of that is very apparent. And I know it sounds maybe an exaggerated description, but I promise that it's not. I mean, and again, look at my past videos that I've talked about on SCANDIC, and you'll see that I talk about the same thing. I sprayed it here earlier, and the moment I spray, it's like this landscape begins to emerge in front of me. There are these earlier fruit notes, and there are things like passion fruit and cassis. I can't unbox it. I mean, there's a great fragrance by KAJAL called AQUA, has a passion fruit note. That passion fruit is very apparent. It pops out really quickly for me. Whereas here, I'm like, I can get a fruity, you know, sour brightness to it, but I don't know exactly what it is. And I have to look to go, oh, wow, passion fruit and cassis. And even then I'm like, I guess, you know. What it is, it's this vibrant, fruity, forest-like, you know, pine, but it does have a sense of water. There's water somewhere in the distance. As it dries, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. As it dries down, it always remains brisk and fresh, but it does have now some more woodier elements. I find that the one thing that I love about the Pana Doras is that they have great bones in that they have great staying power. They also, when it comes to their presence and projection, when it comes to, you know, people know that these fragrances are in the air. My memory connected to this also is that, as I mentioned, I caught up with Ibrahim and his team in Cannes last year. It was beautiful summery. It was the French Riviera at night. We bumped into Ibrahim and him and his guys one evening, Kevin and I, walking around, and ahead of me was one of the team members, and I'm like, man, what is that fragrance? And Ibrahim said, SCANDIC, that's SCANDIC. So every time I smell this, I picture the fjords and everything else, but it also takes me to this moment in time in Cannes and this beautiful warm air, and anyway, gorgeous fragrance. Beautiful as a day fragrance, fantastic as an evening fragrance, great longevity, great presence. And we did, again, here's another one where Kevin did put it up as a fantastic summer in the 10 in 10 as an awesome summer fragrance to wear. Boom. And that's that. I'm gonna stop, reboot, and then keep going with the last three. And back. All right, last three. Now all of these, the next three is now someone, I would recommend it for someone who's a little bit deeper into all things niche perfumery. First three, anybody, no problems at all. These next ones here, and they can be, these are now unisex, all right? So because they're a bit more on the woody side, you may think they lean masculine, but I'm gonna say a woman can comfortably wear these without a problem. The notes are a lot more deeper when it comes to their oriental pieces to them, and also there is now oud in the fragrance, but not barnyard, and I'll go into more detail. First one that I put to you, another new release, is called Orchestra. Massive recommendation to this baby here. When it opens, I get a very sophisticated, very elegant bar-like atmosphere. So there is this leather-like suede piece that opens up. I do get like a booziness out of it, but I'm saying more like a very dry gin, or something not whiskey or aromatic in that regards. It just has this beautiful dryness to it, and I also get that sort of that elegant atmosphere. There's just slight woody notes coming through. It's very on first spray, you're instantly like, whoa, what is this thing? Then as it migrates through, you are getting now, so that booziness sort of comes off, and think of drowned woods, so in this boozy sort of atmosphere. As that migrates through, it does go into more of a very regal-esque wood fragrance. It does have oud in the actual construct. You are getting a touch of that oud in the sense that not fecal or anything of that nature, but definitely animalic. There is, when on smelling it, you're like, I'm pretty confident this has an oud feeling to it. It does have great longevity, and I'm going to say that oud is there both from to give the fragrance that presence, that sort of woodiness, but also it does create this great longevity out of it. 12 plus hours without a problem. The sea agent projection is fantastic. Fantastic as this is a statement maker. So when you're going to an event, or if you're going out for dinner or something of that nature, Orchestra is gorgeous in that regards. I do not see this as a day-to-day, go to the office kind of fragrance. It just has, I don't know, there's too much seriousness going on, too much, you feel like you're walking around with a crown on your head, you have, or this purple cape with like a fur around, there's a sense of presence when you are wearing this particular fragrance, or at least for me, it definitely is. I do get a slight, as I said, leathery sort of feeling at the start. Let me just see what else I wrote here. Yeah, actually I've covered everything I want to say. There are herbal notes in here. There is a spiciness, and this is a part, again, I go back to where you can't really unpick these things. For me, when I smell nutmeg in a fragrance, I'm like, bop, I can like, nutmeg is present. Whereas here, nutmeg, cardamom, rosemary, and Divana, again, another one. The perfumer that loves using Divana is Mel Fushuni, and I can smell that. I'm like, boom. Whereas here, it just has this way of blending itself in. So, yeah, the construct is just beautifully round, very smooth with its edges. And then on the dry down, it's just a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. Massive recommendation. Now, yesterday, Hannah, I asked her to test it out for, am I right in saying that this is comfortably a unisex fragrance? Hannah is, I'm going to say, an early 20s woman, and she's like, yeah, this is easily something that, her words are, easily something I can wear. She did detect that sort of slight suede-y, sort of leathery touch at the start. Again, super inviting on that opening. And as it wore through, nothing was heavy about it, but there is definitely a presence to the fragrance. So easy a man can wear, easy a woman can wear. Massive recommendation. Orchestra, a great fragrance. And now a little bit deeper into when it comes to your niche journey. The last two are more oud expressions. All right. So the first one is Oud Republic. Boom. There it is. I remember when I first saw this in the Oillataguerre store, I got a bit scared because I'd been smelling the other ones. There's one called, the first one that I jumped into is XV1. I don't know whether you're calling it 16 or XV1. Anyway, XV1, I did do an episode, here it is, excuse me, back in 2020. And I actually rewatched that episode. And my comments there were identical to what I'm saying now, which is, I'm like, it's really hard to unbox this one here. It's very, it's one whole composition and yada yada. So this is what it is. The fragrance commands its own attention without you as the perfume wearer having to think about unboxing. How does it make you feel is really where we start with all the Pana Doras. Where would I wear this? What am I trying to say to the world? And that's where you start with these babies. Anyway, so when I saw Oud Republic, and I'm like, oh man, this is going to be a monster, because they're definitely a lot denser when it comes to their presence, when it comes to the woods and things like that. The last one I'm going to show you is Imperial Woods, which I absolutely adore. But anyway, I saw Oud Republic, and I thought, this is going to be like some... This thing's a sweetheart. This thing is to the point where you're like, oud where? You know, there is oud. So just give you a heads up, there is oud in this fragrance. What I love, what Ibrahim has done here, is that he not that he's gone against type, but he has surprised it. He's integrated these two cultures. His Scandinavian, environment, the Swedish place that he lives, with his Arabic background and the things that he loves when it comes to those Oriental and oud notes and all that, and brought them together beautifully. On opening, you are in love. On opening, you get this spicy, fruity, slight florals coming through. It's a collection of these beautiful notes. A tinge of this animalic suede. So there's like a suede sort of something coming in, but that oud note does not present itself until maybe another 30 or 40 minutes into the actual journey of the fragrance. When I first experienced Oud Republic, I was surprised. I'm like, well, what's the big deal here? My initial fears were completely washed away. It is very, very alluring. So there is nothing sensual though. So don't think this is not a fragrance about sensuality, yada, yada, but it's definitely alluring. There's something there's a hook there. I have been wearing this quite often. I sprayed it the other day. Sandra was like, wow, what is that? And I'm like, this is oud. And she's like, there's no way that's oud. So Sandra has a radar for oud fragrances. She likes them and doesn't like them. She's in this sort of mid-ground. She's like, there's no way that's an oud fragrance. So it has a very appealing opening. Then as it dries down, it does go, actually, sorry, one last thing on that. That opening also has like a berry-like piece to it. And then it also has these jasmine white floral elements to it. I can respray it, but I'm not going to because it's gonna kill the air. Give me 1 second. Let me smell this baby. And where I am now is this divine oud touch, so not heavily oud fragrance. So why it's called Oud Republic, I don't know. It's a very gentle oud touch. It's a lot more enveloped with these beautiful ambery wood notes and with a slight vanilla element to it. It's not sweet, it's not gourmand or anything of that nature, but again, the balance here is just really, really sublime. As an oud fragrance, okay, so if you're new to oud and you want to start discovering, actually on that this weekend, I'm doing a lineup on XERJOFF oud fragrances. So in preparation for that, if you would like to explore a beautiful oud fragrance, I would recommend to you Oud Republic. If you are new to oud, I still would say that you need to be a semi-pro, not a new recruit. Then I would recommend this one to you. Try it out. You'll be surprised at how gorgeous this baby is, and you're still getting part of that oud touch. Again, longevity is massive. I'm just look at my notes. A tinge of animalics because of that oud, but nothing to the point where it's just crazy. And that's pretty much it. So that's that blend. Now the last one. Imperial Woods, gorgeous. But this is now more oud forward. All right, so Imperial Woods is like a massive celebration of the Swedish woodlands, and actually I read somewhere that the coverage here, I'll put it here, I'm not even going to pretend to make it up, but I believe that woodlands in Sweden are quite pronounced. There's a lot of them, you know, it's very forested. So here it's like, so there's two parts to it. You have to imagine, and it is very transformative, that on first spray, you're at the edge of the forest. You can see the trees. Sunlight is streaming, but it's not like SCANDIC, where you can see a fjord and you can see greenness and blues and all these colors and it's vibrant. Here, you're on the edge of the forest. And then, as you start to dry down in the fragrance, you are now deep in the forest. The sun or the light is sort of fading on you. Nothing scary. There's nothing sort of ominous in this landscape, but you're definitely surrounded by majestic woods, and you're definitely a very small creature in this large landscape. This is your, I think this is a little bit more masculine leaning. The woods are quite heavy here. This is a genuine statement maker. So if you need to do something quite serious, I don't know, tell your team that they need to pick up their socks, as my mother would say. My mother, she wouldn't say pull up your socks, she'd say pick up your socks. Pick up your socks and either sell or get out, you know, the Blake style from Glengarry Glen Ross. Well, this is the kind of fragrance that you would be wearing, you know, super confident, radiate a certain strength. Now, I wore it on Sunday. I caught up with my brother and his family. On first spray, Sandra, again, because I've been going very deeply on all things Pana Dora of late. Sandra, again, is like, wow, that's beautiful. That's a gorgeous, gorgeous fragrance. That opening is very alluring. It's just somewhat bright. There are some woody, aromatic notes. It almost to the point of being classic masculine. So think of those designer fragrances which instantly draw you in, you know, the fragrances for boys. It's that exactly. So this beautiful, bright, aromatic, confident, woody element to it, soy hombre kind of style. Then as it dries down, it goes into more deeper into that oud touch. That oud really presents itself a lot more, but not fecal. Definitely animalic, but not over the top where you're like, whoa, barnyard or anything of that nature. Where this is Oud Republic, it never really goes very deep, whereas here, Imperial Woods definitely presents itself a lot more. Deeper in the day, I'm with my brother, probably about a meter or so apart, and he said, bro, oh sorry, there's two parts to the story. He said, bro, you smell amazing. Did you give me that sample? So earlier on, I showed him that I brought, I'm the niche fragrance collector, and if I can't bring samples and, you know, treats for my family, then what kind of what kind of niche fragrance collector am I? So I brought a whole bunch of different samples and yada yada, and I mentioned to him that I put some Pana Doras in the goodie bag, basically. Anyway, he's like, bro, you smell amazing. Did you give me one of those? Did you give me, did you supply me with Imperial Woods? I did not. I gave him SCANDIC because I think Imperial Woods might be a bit too strong for him. But the bottom line is the presence that this fragrance has, and interestingly, he didn't detect, because I said to him, can you smell the oud? And he's like, you know, he's not deep into fragrance, so for him to say, oh, I can smell oud. But I said, does it smell a bit sort of funky? And he's like, no, it smells gorgeous. It smells like a man, you know, it smells really a great presence to the fragrance. So so again, going back, my brain's going everywhere. Going back, Imperial Woods, gorgeous fragrance. A big recommendation. Massive when it comes to its presence, and definitely a much more of a masculine fragrance. My gosh, did I do good? Like I said, Maté talk, woohoo! It goes a little bit, I have to keep my brain like zeroed in on what I'm doing, otherwise it go everywhere. Hope you enjoyed that. That's a bit of a brief introduction to all things Pana Dora. There's one that I actually wanted to put in, but I didn't. That's patchouli dust. That's definitely 5-star general. I've discovered that some people really have a problem with it. They're like, bleh. Whereas I think it's glorious if you love patchouli. And I did want to talk about it, but I'm not going to because I don't want this to be way too long. But patchouli dust, oh my gosh, it's such a gorgeous fragrance. However, as I said, I am doing a discovery series coming up. I will give you more information, all right? So as we go a little bit deeper, and I will share some more information as to what that the code is and how to participate and all the rest of it. If you enjoyed that, love you to subscribe. It's a great support to the channel, and yeah, I'm appreciative for your help. What I will do now is let me talk about things that are connected to the channel and some announcements. I'll loop back onto the promo. You have a chance to win this. This is going, the winner will be announced next week. So this is your last week. All you have to do to participate in receiving this 50 ml bottle, which is a collector's item because, and the reason why I say that, if you didn't know, it has, so it's been painted, hand painted on the back. Every one of these bottles was completely unique. It was part of the launch party that was held. Beautiful fragrance, really gorgeous oud fragrance. All you got to do is put the words FLÄNER, which is the name of the brand, the fox, which is their logo, and you need to be a subscriber. If I don't see this red dot, my team and I will send you a message to say, hey, yo, because it could be that you've got your settings on private, but maybe you don't, maybe you haven't subscribed. We need you to subscribe, please, to participate in that. If you're a member of the channel, you'll get double entry. Subscribers will get a single entry. Next week, I'll spin the wheel. You have one more week. Boom, good luck. Coming up also is the Discovery Series. There is a code for this already, NFC 10, and you jump on their website. You want to order the atmospheric, fruity, and floral Discovery set. I will go into a breakdown, 2 episodes, and that'll go live on the 20th of July. So if you want to participate and join me on that, please do. There are some really exceptional fragrances. I did an episode on Levant. Levant is in here, really big hitter. I'm doing an episode on Key. I talked about it last week. Gorgeous fragrance. So this whole box has some really exceptional fragrances that you can explore. The last thing, and that is that the Libertine, the team of Libertine, have opened up to international shipping. Let me slow it down, so let me tell you about that, because it's a big deal. You can now jump on the Libertine website anywhere across the world and have a look at the work that they're doing. If you go, okay, some pro tips, you ready? 2 pro tips. 1, first orders 10% off. So if you create an account, you'll get a code, you'll get an email with a 10% off. So you want to take part in that because everything is in Aussie dollars. Right now, the Aussie dollar is like poo-poos. So if you want to take advantage of that, just go right ahead. And the second pro tip is on the tab here, you can go to outlet and you'll see, this is what I do, you'll see that they've got a number of fragrances heavily discounted. Sometimes, anyway, I don't know what they do, but I was gonna say what they do, but I don't know. Bottom line is you get some really great prices on there. Having said that though, you can also get some great prices across all the other fragrances because again, they're all in Aussie dollars. Now, I am gonna be doing a promo with all things XERJOFF. Anybody across the world will have a chance to win a free bottle of Neo Rio. You can choose your color. All you got to do is buy a bottle of XERJOFF, essentially, and then use the code, which I'll share with you once that goes live. And you'll be in the chance to win. It's only going to be a 2-week promo, but just give you a heads up that that's coming up, that's coming down the line. That episode will drop in another 2 or 3 more weeks. Yeah, just to make you aware that if you want to have a look at the Libertine website, check it out because, yeah, they're now making that available to everyone across the world. Boom, we're done. All right, thanks everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. Any comments regarding Pana Doras, let me know. On the upcoming, so at the end of every month, I do a spin of the wheel for members of the channel. If you want to become a member, it's $4. It's very cost effective. And all members get access to 1, Discord, 2, we say thank you because you're supporting the channel. And then 3, you will get a chance to spin, I get a chance to spin the wheel and you get a chance to win something. Now I am going to include this discovery set. I've got 2 of these, so there will be 2 winners. I'll send that out to you guys. Plus, I'll include a number of the Pana Dora samples, so it'll be a fairly generous. These are, I was going to say, these are not cheap. So I'll include that in there so that you guys can enjoy. Bada bing, boom, boom. Thanks, everyone. Look forward to your comments. We'll see you guys all on the next Maté Talk.